Good morning. Oh, I've got to go to church. Work. Anyways, so today is chapter 21, which is Isaiah 49. And last night in my reading, I was able to pull some things out that I thought were interesting or stuck out to me. For instance, there's a very clear imagery for me in verses 2 through 4, and I'm just going to read them to you. I found that Isaiah, for me, makes sense if you read him verse by verse. If you just read him, you're like, what is he talking about? But if you just take it one verse at a time, it's perfectly clear to me anyway. So 2 through 4 was very, I kept reading it over and over and over again because for some reason it stuck out to me. But anyways, it says, "And he hath made my mouth like a sharp sword. In the shadow of his hand hath he hid me, and made me a polished shaft. In his quiver hath he hid me, and said unto me, Thou art my servant, O Israel, in whom I will be glorified. Then I said, I have labored in vain. I have spent my strength for naught, and in vain. Surely my judgment is with the Lord, and my work with my God." And what kept coming to my mind as I read these verses was that Isaiah is basically saying, he's made me his prophet. He's made my mouth like a sharp sword. I am supposed to say these things. They say a woman's tongue is like a double-edged sword. It can be so sharp sometimes. Well, he's saying, these are the prophecies, these are the commandments he's telling me to say, and they're going to cut some people. And then it says, in the shadow of his hand hath he hid me, and made me a polished shaft. In his quiver hath he hid me. And if you think about a quiver, right, that's the thing on the back where the archer holds his arrows. And he said unto me, Thou art my servant, O Israel, in whom I will be glorified. In my mind, I saw this archer, this warrior, have this bow and arrow, this quiver on his back, and having Isaiah, his polished shaft, in his quiver, being like, I'm going to use you, and you're going to glorify me. You're going to glorify my work. I don't know, it was like him saying, in whom I will be glorified. It was like, in whom I will be glorified. This is happening. For some reason, that's how it was in my mind. And then I said, I have labored in vain. I have spent my strength for naught, and in vain. Surely my judgment is with the Lord, and my work with my God. And that it's like, I am unworthy. I've labored in vain. I don't know if I've done right. I don't know if I've done enough. But surely my work is with my God, right? Right? I'm good enough for this? Anyways, those are how I saw that verse. Those verses. And then also in verse 16, it says, Behold, I have graven thee upon the palms of my hands. Thy walls are continually before me. And everybody talks about, in my supplemental reading, it talks about graving you on the palm of my hands. But what stuck out to me was, thy walls are continually before me. And that also was very an image for me as I read. It's like, your walls are continually before me. I can't go anywhere. You're right there. You're all I see. You're right there. I turn this way, you're there. I turn this way, you're there. You're constantly before me. There's nothing else I see. There's nothing else I can do. It's just you right there. You're constantly before me. And then in verse 23, it talks about the king shall be nursing fathers and the queens nursing mothers, and they shall bow down, blah, blah, blah. But what stuck out to me was, for they shall not be ashamed that wait for me. And I remember reading this a couple years ago, when I was doing an intense study of the Book of Mormon, 2 chapters in the morning, 2 chapters at night. And something about this verse I remember stuck out to me about, do we still have that? I don't think I do. Something stuck out to me about my own life and about the Lord's timing. And during that study of the Book of Mormon, I got very strong impressions like I'm not getting married in this life. I got very strong impressions during that time. And this one was a comfort to me during those impressions, that they shall not be ashamed that wait for me. As long as I'm doing what I'm supposed to, as long as I have faith in the Lord, as long as I keep the commandments, it doesn't matter if I get married or not. They shall not be ashamed that wait for me. If I am a covenant-keeping woman, it doesn't matter if I have a man or kids. I will not be ashamed that I don't have those things. Anyways, that's what stuck out to me when I read it last time. And when I went over my old scriptures, mainly 49 is all about the gathering and restoration of the gospel. And anything that stuck out to me in my supplemental talks about America and how great it is. And that's about it. Yeah. But one thing I did want to mention was in the book I was reading last night, which, hello, so good. It keeps referencing a talk by Neil A. Maxwell. It's the October 1973 edition of the Ensign, and it's called 10 Keys to Understanding Isaiah. I'm planning on reading that as well, and I thought it might be something worth looking into for you guys if you're interested. So that's October 1973 Ensign, Neil A. Maxwell, 10 Keys to Understanding Isaiah. All right, I got to get ready for work. I hope you all have a great day. I love you very much.